Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to the Bring the Sing podcast. I'm your host, The Hammer, and we got a good one. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to enjoy my vacation, and now I'm back. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to release more episodes. So, today like I said, we got a good one. We got the going over the top 100 players list. Now, I do understand that not all 100 players have been announced yet. It looks like we only got from, as of right now that I'm recording this, we have from 100 to 57, and I think 57 through 50 will be announced either tomorrow or after tomorrow. But, I didn't want to keep you guys waiting too much. So let's go over 100 through 57. That's still a good 43 players that we can react to. This is a blind react. I have not seen this list just yet. I probably have seen maybe a couple of names so far. Just I think I saw Lamar Jackson ranked somewhere around here, but other than that, yeah, it's let's get right into it. Like I said, I appreciate you guys' patience. It was legitimately the driest part of the off season. Didn't really have a whole lot to work with, and that's when I decided it might as well be time to take a little vacation. But that doesn't mean I'm giving up on the pod. We're back, we're ready to go, and we're going to record as many episodes as God allows us to. So here we go. Starting off at number 100, we got Cam Jordan from the New Orleans Saints. His previous year ranking was no ranking, so good for him for finally getting on this list. Last year he had 47 tackles, 15 tackles for loss, 10.5 sacks, 15 quarterback hits, 2 forced fumbles. Good for him. He's done it for a long time. He's been really good at what he's done for a long time. So other than that, not much to say. I'm not going to spend half a podcast talking about number 100. We can just go through 3 or 4 of these at a time. Actually, now that I'm saying this out loud. 99 through 96, we got 99 Quentin Nelson, 97 Bryce Young, or 98 Bryce Young, 97 Ernest Jones, and 96 Travis Etienne. So obviously Quentin Nelson, one of my favorite offensive linemen in the entire league. He was in that same draft class as Josh Allen and Bradley Chubb and all of them. So good for him, seeing that he's still doing what he's doing. He was the second team All-Pro this year. Bryce Young, good for him to get on this list. None of these guys were ranked last year. These are all new entries on the top 100, and I don't have any problems with these so far. Ernest Jones, linebacker from Seattle. He was Super Bowl champion, 126 tackles, 4 tackles for a loss, half sack, 5 interceptions. He was doing his thing. Bryce Young, he really improved with Dave Canales. He led his team to the playoffs for the first time in his career. Travis Etienne, 1,100 rushing yards. Now he's with the New Orleans Saints. I'm excited to see what he'll do there. Six receiving touchdowns, 7 rushing touchdowns. No arguments here so far. Let's see. So we got 95 through 93. We got Demario Davis at 95, Creed Humphrey from the Chiefs at 94, and Carson Schlesinger at 93. So Demario Davis, he's now on the Jets. Demario Davis, I actually wanted this guy on the Broncos really bad. He is one of the best linebackers in the league. And I guess linebackers don't really get ranked that high because 95 is kind of crazy. I feel like he played a little better than 95 last year, but he wasn't ranked last year. Had 143 tackles this year, half sack, 3 passes defensed, 2 forced fumbles, excuse me. And now he's with the Jets. This is no argument there. I guess I do have an argument. I think he should be graded a little higher. Especially above Carson Schlesinger. I know Carson Schlesinger was doing his thing as a rookie, but I don't know. I think Demario Davis is both in their primes. I think I would take Demario Davis 100%. Creed Humphrey as the center. This one is kind of interesting too. Last year he was ranked 93rd, and now this year he's ranked 94th. He was selected to the Pro Bowl. He only allowed 1 sack, so I guess this does kind of make sense. But for the most, I guess the Chiefs' lack of success this year kind of overrided. Yeah, sorry, I can't talk today. Overrided his his success on the offensive line, anchoring them down as the center. Carson Schlesinger, like I said, he's a rookie from the Cleveland Browns from that awesome draft class that they had last year. 156 tackles, 11 tackles for loss, 2.5 sacks. Wow, actually, maybe he did have a better season than Mario Davis. Now that I'm looking at it, that's actually pretty crazy. He was Defensive Rookie of the Year, 2 interceptions, 9 quarterback hits. Good for him, man. I'm very excited for what he can do upcoming in this league. Now 92 through 90, we got Azeez Al-Shaair. That one is a little underrated. I think he's one of my favorite linebackers in the entire league. From the Texans, we got Montez Sweat from the Bears and Derek Brown at 90 for the Panthers. Now all three of these guys were not ranked this year, so this is their first time making the list, at least as of this year. I don't know about previous years. It doesn't say here on this little chart that I made, but so Azeez Al-Shaair, 103 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss, 2 quarterback hits, 2 interceptions, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery. He was an anchor on that Houston Texans dominant defense. Not much more you can say. I love the guy. A lot of people say he's a dirty player. I don't think he's a dirty player. I just think he plays with a lot of intensity. Montez Sweat, defensive end. Now this is actually very impressive numbers for a defensive end. 10 sacks, 13 tackles for a loss, 18 quarterback hits, and 3 forced fumbles. That is, it's pretty absurd for a defensive end. These are numbers that you see out of a edge rusher, like outside linebacker, not so much a defensive end. So, Montez Sweat, he was doing his thing, and not a lot of people thought that he was going to be doing things, especially with that last name Sweat, Josh Sweat, Montez Sweat. A lot of these guys kind of get overlooked, but no, he was doing his thing. And then Derek Brown, defensive end with the Carolina Panthers. This one's kind of interesting too, because I feel like Montez Sweat did a better job with the Bears than Derek Brown did with the Panthers. He only had 5 sacks, 5 tackles for a loss, 73 tackles, and 1 forced fumble. But I guess he was more of like a run stuffer or something. Not necessarily understanding why he's above Montez Sweat here, or as Azeez Al-Shaair for that matter. But we'll see. Anyways, I guess that's their list, not mine. So we got 89 through 87. We got Kyren Williams from the Los Angeles Rams, running back. Jack Campbell, the linebacker from the Detroit Lions. And 87 is Teteroa McMillan, wide receiver from the Carolina Panthers. So the Kyren Williams thing, he was ranked as 85th last year. And now he's at 89. He had about 1,200 yards. 10 touchdowns. He was honestly a beast on fantasy if you had him in fantasy. But yeah, Kyren Williams at 89. I'll have to see who else is on this list, because I know there's probably a lot better running backs that are on this list. But for the most part, don't really have a lot of arguments there. We got and this is the whole point of this episode is kind of a live reaction, because I haven't seen this list before. So this is a live reaction to see this list and, kind of see if this makes sense, see if this is kind of congruent, see if I have any qualms or arguments about any of this. And so far, with a few minor nitpicks, I don't really have a lot of qualms. I mean, Jack Campbell at 88. Jack Campbell did his thing. He was not ranked last year, but he did his thing for the Lions last year. 9 tackles for loss, 3 forced fumbles, 176 total tackles. All first team, all pro. You make it to the first team as an all pro. You probably a little better than 88 if you really think about it. But moving on to 87 with Teteroa McMillan. Good on the young fella for making this list at 87 as a rookie. He was NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year. He was the PFWA All-Rookie Team. He had 70 receptions, 7 receiving touchdowns, and 1,000 yards. He was also a beast on fantasy. He was kind of a fantasy sleeper if you think about it. Now we got 86 through 83. We got Tui Pelotu from the Los Angeles Chargers. We got Brock Purdy from the 49ers. We got Byron Young from the Rams, linebacker, and then Jeffrey Simmons as a defensive tackle from the Tennessee Titans. So Tui Pelotu, linebacker, had a decent season. Definitely heard his name being called a lot of times when the Broncos were playing the Chargers. So definitely makes sense. I didn't realize he had 13 sacks. That's actually pretty absurd. 20 tackles for a loss. Wow, that guy is a beast. Brock Purdy, even though he was injured for a good portion of the year, when he was healthy, he was really doing his thing, and he was kind of the only person that was healthy, that was doing his thing on the 49ers. He had 2,100 passing yards, 20 passing touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns, 147 yards. If Purdy had a solid year, or like a healthy year, I definitely think he could have passed easily for 4,000 yards. I don't think that would have been a concern at all. So, yeah, we'll see if he's healthy next year. Watch out for that 49ers team. Gosh, I cannot wait for football, man. I'm reading through this list and I'm like, man, like, we're just in the dead of summer right now. There's no sports going on besides baseball, and I don't hate baseball. I actually kind of like baseball, but it's just when it's the only thing on, man. It's like I want football so bad, man. Like I just re-upped all my subscriptions, NFL Plus and NFL Sunday Ticket and all that. It's like, man, I want football so bad, man. Anyways, yeah, Byron Young. Sorry, I cannot talk today. I'm trying to get back in the podcasting mood. It's been a couple of weeks, gotta get the podcasting tongue back. Byron Young, linebacker, Los Angeles Rams, selected his first Pro Bowl this year. He was not ranked last year. Had 82 total tackles, 12 sacks, 12 tackles for a loss. What a beast. And now he's going to be paired up with none other than Myles Garrett. That Los Angeles Rams team, it's going to be something to watch, something special. They're definitely my Super Bowl favorites coming out of the NFC at least. Jeffrey Simmons, now I knew this from week 1. Jeffrey Simmons, absolute dominant force field on that D-line for the Tennessee Titans. Unfortunately, he plays for the Tennessee Titans, but my goodness, man, this guy was a beast. He was an anchor, first-team All-Pro, Pro Bowler, 67 total tackles, 11 sacks as a defensive tackle, 17 tackles for a loss, 3 forced fumbles, 1 safety, 1 receiving touchdown. Unreal the amount of production that Jeffrey... And, I remember Jeffrey Simmons was talking smack about Bo Nix before the first week of the season last year. And then, he made Bo Nix's life a living hell. I was like, wow, man, this guy was talking smack, and he could actually back up that smack. So, yeah, I mean, good on him. Not for talking the smack, but for at least backing up the smack. Walking the walk, I should say. Now, here, in this next part of the list, here is where we get to some really feisty names where last year they were ranked a lot higher than they're currently ranked right now. So starting off with Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey's at 82. Last year he was ranked at 16th. Even though he was selected to the Pro Bowl and he's still part of the top 100, he fell about, 66 total spots on the list this year for safety for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I guess, making the switch over to safety and making everybody kind of forget about you by going to Pittsburgh. It's interesting. Not that I have any qualms about it. I think actually if I had any qualms, it would be the fact that he's at 82 and not at like 99 or something. Like, I don't know. I think 82 is a little high, but I guess they got to give all the big names their respect. 81 though, Bobby Wagner. This is actually pretty wild. Bobby Wagner still doing his thing as a 55-year-old linebacker. Washington Commanders. He's a free agent now. Last year, could you believe he was ranked 7th last year? Like, this is crazy. Actually, wait, this doesn't make sense. Hold on. There's no way he was ranked at 7th last year. Hold on, let me check. Oh, I see. Okay, my bad. Okay, so I just scrolled up to the top. The numbers that I have here, oh my goodness, this is embarrassing. The numbers that I have here are how many spots that they changed position-wise. So it said red arrow down for 7. That means he was ranked 74th last year, and then he went down 7 spots. Okay, I was like, there was no way on earth that Bobby Wagner was ranked 7th last year. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, so that means Jalen Ramsey was ranked 66th last year. Okay. Completely disregard all the ranks that I said. Luckily, most of everybody that I mentioned so far has been not ranked. So, gosh, that is embarrassing. Anyways, moving on. A.J. Brown at 80. This is a downgrade of 51 total spots. Now he's with the Patriots. So what is that? I'm trying to do the math here. So he was 29th last year, and now he's at 80 with 78 receptions, 1,000 receiving yards, and 7 receiving touchdowns. That is, honestly justified. I completely understand why he was docked 51 total spots last year. It's kind of amazing that he even made this list. with all the antics that he was doing last year. But I guess this is only counting football and football alone. 79. This is absolutely diabolical. I don't understand how this is one of my major qualms with this list. 79, Travis Kelce, docked 42 spots this year, selected to the 11th Pro Bowl, 76 receptions, 851 receiving yards, 5 receiving touchdowns. I can name at least 5 different tight ends right now that I would much rather have going into this season and going into like the beginning of last season than Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce's washed up, man. There is no shot that you're putting him at 79 other than to please the fans, please the Chiefs fans, please all the Swifties. There's just no way. Like, I don't understand what Travis Kelce did last year besides make it to a Pro Bowl, which we all know is a popularity contest. Like, diabolical. Now, speaking of Sweat brothers, we got another one, Josh Sweat. Now, this guy, he actually went up 17 spots from last year. So last year he was at 95. This year, linebacker for the Arizona Cardinals, he got up to 78. 30 total tackles, 12 sacks, 13 tackles for a loss. He was a beast on that otherwise unbeastly Arizona Cardinals team. So yeah, I mean, I hope he keeps doing his thing. He's definitely a lot of fun to watch. I just remember watching that Monday Night Football game between Dallas and Arizona, in which he totally ruined Dak's life for that evening. So that was, I don't have any qualms with this one, unlike the guy before him. And and what I mean by that is Travis Kelce. So 77 through 75, we have Baker Mayfield, J.C. Horn, and Budda Baker. Baker Mayfield, and I hope you guys know who these guys play for. I mean, I'm not going to name the teams every single time, but, Baker Mayfield, he was docked 27 total spots from last year to this year. So last year he was ranked at 50th. This year he is ranked at 77th. Kind of started off really hot. Started off as a MVP candidate, was winning a lot of games, and the tires just kind of blew out, and Todd Bowles did his thing too. And I don't know. It's just injuries happen. They didn't make the playoffs. Like, I totally understand why he fell 27 spots. It looked like he was going to go up 27 spots at the beginning of the year, but that's why they played the entire year. J.C. Horn, oh my goodness. When they first got drafted, both Patrick Surtain and J.C. Horn, I was like, what are the Panthers doing, man? You got generational talent at cornerback right there coming out of Alabama, Patrick Surtain, and you ended up getting J.C. Horn. Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? But J.C. Horn, he actually played extraordinarily well this year. I don't want to say like Patrick Surtain levels, but he definitely played like an elite cornerback this year. Good for him for making this list. He was not ranked last year, selected to the second Pro Bowl. 37 total tackles, 5 interceptions, 8 passes defended. Good for him. And Budda Baker, this is another one where it's like the guy they just put this on for namesake. They didn't really do a whole lot. 120 total tackles as a safety is really bad, and not because. And I'm not saying it's really bad for Budda Baker himself. That's totally fine. That's actually exceptional, the fact that you had 120 total tackles. I'm saying your defense is so freaking bad that the running backs and the wide receivers were able to get through not only the first level, not only the second level, but the third level of the defense is the last level, and that's where you had to get stopped. That's why Budda Baker was able to get all those tackles, was because your defense was just so freaking bad that it was able to penetrate through both the first and second level of the defense. Horrible. So that's another qualm I have about this list. He fell 41 spots from last year. Don't even think he should have even really had a spot this year. It's Budda Baker. What are we doing here? Here's another one that fell 41 spots. Josh Jacobs, running back from the Green Bay Packers, 929 rushing yards, 13 rushing touchdowns, 282 receiving yards, and 1 receiving touchdown. Now, this guy, I know that nobody cares about your fantasy team, but this guy was the definition of boomer bust when it came to fantasy. Either you're getting 30 points from Josh Jacobs, or you're getting 0.2 points from not even a full point from Josh Jacobs. Like, it was absolutely despicable. And I remember halfway through the season, I ended up trading him to my dad's team, which probably one of the best decisions for my team was the fact that I traded him. But feel bad that I had to go to my dad, because that was That was not a good trade for him at all. Now we got 73 through 71. 73 is the hometown hero Zach Allen from the Denver Broncos, up 17 spots from last year. Last year is ranked at 90. This year he's ranked at 73, and honestly, probably should be a little higher. He was a dominant force on that otherwise dominant Denver Broncos defense. First team All-Pro, selected to his first Pro Bowl. 38 tackles, 4 tackles for a loss, 7 sacks as a defensive tackle or a defensive end, and that's 7 sacks sharing the load with Jonathan Cooper and Nick Bonito and all of them. So 47 quarterback hits. I think he's either first or second in the entire league in quarterback hits, and had 6 passes defended, just batting them down at the line. Zach Allen reminds me a lot of J.J. Watt. He even wears the same kind of gear and the same number as J.J. Watt. Love Zach Allen. Hope he stays healthy, and I hope he continues to produce, and I hope he continues to be a beast on that Denver D-line. Jordan Love. This is a pro Jordan Love podcast. I'm not gonna sit here and roast Jordan Love. I like Jordan Love. I think, and I also, this kind of stems from the fact that I have a best friend who's a Packers fan who hates Jordan Love, and I think he's just ungrateful, because I think there's a lot of teams in this entire league that would do everything sort of illegal things, I'll just leave it at that, to get Jordan Love onto their team. He had 3,300 yards last year, 23 touchdowns, 199 rushing yards. He was injured for a few games, so that's why the numbers kind of seem a little low. But I like Jordan Love. This is Jordan Love pro. This is a pro Jordan Love podcast. Zay Flowers at 71, wide receiver for the Baltimore Ravens. I forgot to say Jordan Love. This is. He was docked 4 spots from last year, but I mean, makes sense. Last year, he was injured, so can't really blame him for that too much. 71, Zay Flowers, Baltimore Ravens, was not ranked the previous year. Selected to his second Pro Bowl, 1,200 yards, 5 receiving touchdowns, 86 receptions. This is another one where it's this is truly boom or bust when it came to fantasy. I don't really have any qualms here. He's fine. He's a serviceable guy. Not really my favorite wide receiver in the whole league, but we've got more Packers and Ravens coming up on this list. This is also interesting. And wow, another surprise at 68. So right now I'll start off at 70. Xavier McKinney, safety of the Green Bay Packers, docked 40 spots this year. So last year he was at 30. This year he's ranked 70th in the league. He's second team All-Pro, 107 total tackles. See, that's another thing, man. I don't like seeing safeties with a lot of tackles. The lower the tackles, the better. You know what I mean? That means your D-line and your linebackers are good. If your D-line and linebackers are not good, then that's when you're going to see these safeties racking up the tackles. The tackles, total tackles, and in terms of safeties, mean absolutely nothing to me. But he did have 10 passes defended and 2 interceptions, so that's more like it. I will give him that one. 69 though, absolutely crazy. This is probably one of the biggest swings from the previous year to this year, because 69, he was ranked at second last year. If that gives you a hint, it is none other than quarterback of the Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson. Last year ranked at second. This year ranked at 69th. One of the biggest swings that I've ever seen in my life. 2,500 passing yards. But it makes sense, though. I mean, he was injured half the year, missed the playoffs. 2,500 passing yards, 21 passing touchdowns, 350 rushing yards. Never really truly returned to the same kind of dominant Lamar Jackson kind of force. We saw shades, but I don't think he was ever fully healthy last year, even when he came back from injury. 68, we got a Denver Bronco, Cortland Sutton, not ranked the previous year. He had 1,000 receiving yards, 74 receptions, and 7 receiving touchdowns. I like Cortland Sutton. He's a serviceable guy. He's not a number 1 wide receiver, and that's why I'm glad we got Jalen Waddle, baby. So, I don't really know how he got to 68th, but he was doing his thing. He was kind of Bo Nix's blanket guy, third down guy, as Tony Romo liked to say. So, good for him for making this list, but I don't know, 68's a little high, especially looking at all these other guys. Next, we got Jordan Brooks, Drake London, and Roquan Smith. So this is kind of interesting. So Jordan Brooks, linebacker, Miami Dolphins, not much to say about that. 183 total tackles, incredible. First team All-Pro, maybe he should be a little higher on this list, but Miami kind of sucks. So Sorry for that, but Jordan Brooks, one of the best linebackers in the entire league, if not the best linebacker in the entire league right now. Drake London, wide receiver, he's up 31 spots from last year. Last year he was ranked at 97th. This year 66th. 68 receptions, 919 receiving yards, 7 receiving touchdowns. He was injured for a little bit. He also had a lot of different quarterbacks throwing him the ball last year, or at least a couple of different quarterbacks throwing him the ball this year. I think Drake London is one of the best wide receivers in the entire league right now, and I definitely expect him to make the leap from 66 to like at least 30. You know, that's a bring the sink hot take right there. But I liked watching Drake London a lot last year. He has a strong pair of hands, great route running. Even when he's covered, he's still open. Not much more you could say about that. Roquan Smith at 65. 64 is Chris Olave. 63 is Kyle Hamilton. So Roquan Smith from the Baltimore Ravens, he's docked for 25 spots from last year. So last year he was ranked at 40th. Had 130 total tackles. See, that's what I'm talking about. I like seeing linebackers with a lot of tackles. It means you're not letting the safeties get the tackles, you know. But anyways, 130 total tackles, 5 tackles for a loss, 3 passes defense, fumble recovery, and a defensive touchdown. Roquan Smith, just an absolute beast. And, you know, when you see the name Roquan Smith, you just know that's going to be a dog at the linebacker position, you know. Like, moving on, he got Chris Olave, wide receiver from the New Orleans Saints, who was not ranked the previous year. He made a second-team All-Pro. 100 receptions, 1,100 receiving yards, 9 total touchdowns. This is another one of those guys where I'm like, I really want it on Denver Broncos, don't get me wrong. But, yeah, if he could stay healthy, he's definitely one of the best wide receivers in the league, too. I like him a lot. I like a lot of these guys coming in out of Ohio State, man. Ohio State really is that wide receiver factory, that wide receiver university. Now, Kyle Hamilton at safety from Baltimore Ravens. This is where I'm going to kind of switch up a little bit. He's docked 12 points or 12 rankings from last year. So he was 51st last year. Now he's 63rd. Now, this one, first team All-Pro, selected a 3rd Pro Bowl, 105 total tackles. Now, you see that, you see 105 total tackles. You're like, hey, Hammer, what's going on? Why do you think... Why do you dock safeties for having a lot of tackles? Well, I don't really dock the safeties themselves, but I dock the actual defensive units. But I'm not going to dock the Ravens or Kyle Hamilton for that specific stat. And that's because Kyle Hamilton, he plays everywhere. He plays linebacker, he plays cornerback, he plays safety. He'll play on the D-line. Like, he plays literally everywhere. So I cannot dock him or the Ravens for that. The guy is an absolute Swiss Army knife. You know, he's just one of the best players, one of the best defensive players in the league right now. Like, I mean, he made the first team All-Pro last year. Everybody can kind of see that he is one of the best safeties in the league right now, and he's just so versatile. Like I said, that Swiss Army knife, totally deserved at this position. He could be ranked a little higher. He just kind of had an off year last year. It's crazy because all of these numbers that I just said, and that's considered an off year. Next, we got some pretty interesting names. We got Trevor Lawrence at 62, Kevin Byard at 61, and Brock Bowers at 60. So, Trevor Lawrence, 4,000 yards last year, kind of a breakout year for Trevor Lawrence. 350 rushing yards, 9 rushing touchdowns, 29 passing touchdowns. Definitely think he was in contention for MVP last year, especially towards the second half of the season. Second half of the season, he was pretty much perfect, had like a perfect passer rating. He at one point he had like 13 touchdowns and 0 interceptions through like a 3-game span or something. Like, it was crazy. Definitely, this is the Trevor Lawrence that we all wanted to see right out of the gate in 2021 when he first got drafted. But obviously, you know, in Jacksonville, it's not really the best situation for a guy to get drafted out of. So, just seeing this makes my heart happy because I've always been a Trevor Lawrence fan coming out of Clemson, and now seeing him making this list after not being ranked the previous year, 4,000 passing yards, what an absolute beast. Now, I am a little salty because he did beat my Denver Broncos last year, but, you know, taking that, like, bias out of my heart, he's definitely, like I said in my rankings, my top 10 quarterback ranking video, or podcast that I released a few months ago, Trevor Lawrence is a top 10 quarterback, in my opinion. And moving on to Kevin Byard, Chicago Bears. This guy's just been doing it forever, man. Now he's with the New England Patriots. He was not ranked the previous year, but this year he made it to a first-team All-Pro. He made it to the Pro Bowl, 93 total tackles, 7 interceptions. He was the lead leaguer in interceptions as a safety who's like 45 years old. You know, it's like absolutely. And when I say like these like 45 years old, 55 years old, obviously I'm exaggerating a little bit. You know, let me have my fun. You know, so yeah, good on Kevin Byard for still doing his thing for so long, man. Brock Bowers, the previous year he got docked 36 total ranking spots. So yeah, he was ranked 24th last year. I mean, honestly, completely understand. One of the best rookie seasons, if not the best rookie season by a tight end ever. Coming into his sophomore year, he was destined to have a little sophomore slump. But even in his little quote-unquote sophomore slump, he still had 64 receptions, 680 receiving yards, 7 receiving touchdowns. I knew a lot of people that drafted this guy second overall in their fantasy leagues, or not second overall, set in the second round of their fantasy leagues. I was not one of them, thankfully. I don't draft tight ends ever that high, but you know, if you were to ever draft a tight end this high, this guy and Trey McBride are going to be your guys, man. Like, this is he's a beast, absolutely unguardable. He always finds space. You know, not much more you can say. I mean, is 60 the right ranking for him? Yeah, I think so, especially with his little quote-unquote sophomore slump. So, yeah, now 59, I'm not even going to go through 59, 58, or 58 and 57. I'm just going to go through them one by one because 59 is none other than my guy, Bo Nix, baby. Bo Nix, quarterback of the Denver Broncos, almost 4,000 passing yards, about 39, 31, 25 passing touchdowns, 356 rushing yards, and 5 rushing touchdowns, 30 total touchdowns on the year. Took the Broncos to a 14-3 record. In my rankings, I put him as top 10 in the league at the quarterback position, and I only think he's going to get better. God willing, he's going to come back from that injury, and he's going to be even more dominant. And, yeah, hopefully he's going to come into his own and gain more confidence and hopefully compete for some MVPs, because last year you could have definitely made the argument for MVPs, but, you know, with Sean Payton kind of holding him back with the play calling, he did what he could, and he still won 14 games. One of the clutchest, if not the clutchest quarterback in the league last year with game-winning drives and game-tying drives in the last 2 minutes of fourth quarter / OT. So shout out to Bo Nix, up 5 spots from last year, from 64 to 59. Honestly, could go a little higher, but you know, let's save it for next year. Next year, I want to see it up in that top 20, top 10 category. You know, 58, we got Nico Collins, wide receiver from the Texans. Feel like Bo Nix was better than Nico Collins, but whatever. I guess I'm a little biased there. Nico Collins was docked Nico Collins was docked 26 total spots from last year to this year. So last year he was at 74, this year he's at 58. 84, and this year he's at 58. He was selected as his second Pro Bowl, 71 receptions, 1,100 yards, 6 receiving touchdowns. Kind of underwhelming stats for a guy of Nico Collins' stature, but you know they got a lot of mouths to feed, and there wasn't a lot of forks going around with C.J. Stroud and then him getting injured, and yeah, it was kind of a weird year for the Houston Texans offense last year. Now, to round out the list, at 57, like I said, 56 through 51 will be announced sometime in the next couple of days by actual NFL Network like episodes or whatever. So we got the next couple of days, they're coming out with more episodes, and then from the week of the 27th, they're going to release the next 10, and then August 3rd, and then August 10th, and August. So we should have the next episode, part 2 of this series, released around the August 24th through September 4th timeline. So I wanted to get ahead of it, so that way maybe we'll be able to do a little 3-part series too, because maybe we'll do 56 through 10 or 56 through 11. And then top 10 will get its own episode. So maybe this will be a 3-part series. I actually like that. Anyways, Dion Dawkins, offensive tackle from the Buffalo Bills, selected his 5th overall Pro Bowl, 957 snaps played, 33 pressures allowed, 6 sacks allowed. And that's kind of it's kind of an off year for him. This was a rank change of minus 26. Last year he was at 31. This year he's at 57. Yeah, it's interesting. Oh, I just realized I said 84 for Nico Collins. No, I was going in the wrong direction. Nico Collins was actually ranked 32nd last year, and now he's 58th. And yeah, Deion Dawkins, he was ranked at 31 last year, and now he's at 57. So wow, that's actually interesting. They both have the same rank change, and now they're back to back, like a yearbook photo again. So, and yeah, like I said, kind of an off year for Deion Dawkins. He doesn't usually allow that many sacks, but still, I mean, with 957 snaps played and only 6 sacks allowed, definitely one of the best offensive tackles in the entire league. So, shout out Deion Dawkins. Thank you guys so much. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to my cousin Nidal for giving me this idea, because I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I was totally stumped. I'm not a big like AI fan. I don't really like, I like, becoming more, trying to rely on my own creativity rather than like AI or anything. So I was thinking, like, should I just ask like ChatGPT if I should get like what kind of like episode I should release? But I was like, nah, I gotta think of something myself. I gotta think of something like, I gotta be more creative, And so shout out to my cousin Nidal. I'll put him in the credits as a little like creative producer or whatever. Shout out my cousin for this idea, because I was totally stumped, man. I had no idea what to talk about. This was rough, especially in the middle of the off season. Next year, God willing, for this podcast, I've also been like super freaking busy for work too, so that doesn't really help. But like next year, God willing, I will definitely have a much clearer idea as to what to do in the summertime, especially since we won't have the World Cup, so I won't be like watching the World Cup so many times, and I'll actually have something. I'll actually have time to like record these episodes. But yeah, like next year I'll have like a solid plan. We can play some games. Maybe I'll add like a little co-host or something. This is just the beginning, man. Episode 28. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you guys so much for riding. And follow us on social media, of course. And now it's available on YouTube. It's available on Amazon Music, Spotify. I mean, obviously, you know that if you're already listening to it. But please follow us on social media at Bring the Sync Pod on Instagram and TikTok. And peace.